In today's lesson, I'm going to be talking a little bit about proactive learning and how taking control of what you're learning is a really, really important step to reaching fluency and really getting to the next level with anything you do, but especially with language learning. Let me explain what a passive learner is. So a passive learner is somebody that usually takes a course or follows the instruction specifically that the teacher is giving them, meaning that you do the activities and assignments, you prepare to pass the tests that they have, and after that, if you do everything the way that you're supposed to, you pass the course. We have to realize that courses are designed for a general audience. So for example, if you're learning English, they're probably going to have grammar, vocabulary, a little bit of speaking, and a little bit of listening, but it's not really going to be the specific things that are interesting to you and useful to you. Furthermore, the skills probably are not being practiced in the areas that you need them the most. So if you, in your case, you need to improve your speaking, but you go to a course where they're spending 90% of the time doing other tasks and only 10% of the time speaking. That course is probably 80 or 90% useless to you, and you're using a lot of your time and energy to learn a language that aren't really helping you in the ways that you're most interested. So someone who's a proactive learner, you're also going to be an independent learner because you're not really relying or depending on your teacher to tell you what to do next. What you're doing is you're thinking about what you need, what you want, and what sort of things interest you. Another key part is understanding and thinking about what your goals are. When you have these ideas in your mind, it starts to become clear what you need to do. So let's just pretend, for example, that you want to improve your speaking, like I mentioned earlier, and you have a choice. You have listening activities, which are kind of entertaining and fun, and you enjoy them, but you realize it's not really helping your speaking. But then, as you're doing one of our lessons, you see that one of the activities is a speaking activity. If speaking is your goal, you're going to be saying, hey, awesome, here's an opportunity for me to practice speaking. I'm going to do this activity. I'm going to try it and make sure that I put all my energy into it. And then you're going to discover that every single one of our conversation lessons has a speaking activity. And that might be your focus because you want to improve your speaking, but you also want to use better words that are natural and native speakers are using. So you're using the conversation lesson as a source for those words, and then you're using the speaking activities to practice talking about the thing or the topic using those new words. But you can see that your focus is speaking. Now, you'll also see within our courses that we have this basic course, which is called the Getting Started course. And I have different lessons from each of the courses that I've picked, and I think that they're good in general for most people. But this is the same thing as every other course. If you do every single lesson start to finish, even if it's not something that's interesting to you, you're wasting your time. I don't want you to study our courses this way. Pick the things that are interesting to you, the things that help you to improve the skills you are most interested in improving. And when you have this sort of mindset, this way of thinking, you're always going to work on the skills that need to have the most improvement. And you'll continue to see improvement until you reach your final goal of fluency. It becomes very important when you're an advanced learner and you need to start looking at the weak areas of your language skills. If you're having a difficult time with pronunciation, you need to do pronunciation activities. If you're having a hard time using new vocabulary, you need to put energy and effort into speaking and using the new vocabulary that you want to learn. This is how it works. So as long as you're conscious of the skills that are a little bit lower and you're always focusing and choosing the exercises that help you to develop those skills, you're going to reach your goals. So this is a very important lesson, and what I want you to do today is to kind of look through the lessons a little bit, look through the member dashboard, and try to figure out, oh, this one is a listening course. All of these lessons in here are mostly focused on listening. This one here, the speaking course, obviously is designed for speaking, and we have a lot of tips with speaking in there. And that way you're going to know that at the beginning of the week, when you decide, hey, this week I'm going to work on my speaking a little bit, you'll know exactly where to come in our website to get that new advice or method to improve a certain area and be able to practice with the activities that we have for you.